Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Business Shit. I am your host, Mimi G, and today's topic is I'm gonna need you to get paid. Okay, you guys are gonna get me in rare form today because I need to clarify some things and I had some nerves that was peeved. And so I'm just going to just, talk about some things. All right, this is sort of a continuation to last week's episode when I was talking about sponsorships and leveraging and brands and working with influencers and all that shit. All right, you ready? Let's talk some shit. All right. So I got a lot of messages from you guys. You guys were so excited and thrilled about all the content that I gave you guys about working with sponsorships and working with brands and working with influencers if you were a brand. And you guys were feeling more empowered and had a lot of questions answered for you guys. And then I got a message from someone that prompted today's episode. So I'm going to actually read it. I'm not going to say who it's from, but I will read it. It says, "Hi there. I just listened to your episode 11. This is the episode I did about sponsorship. So that wasn't last week's episode. It was the week before. Last week's episode was about launching your product. So let me just clarify that. So it says, "Hi there. I just listened to your episode 11. And as a small business owner, I see bloggers saying, pay me what I'm worth. I'll send you my rate card. But I rarely see them say how they have generated sales for a brand. I know no one can promise future sales, but you have to prove that you can make money for a brand." No, that is wrong. And I emailed her back and told her how I felt about that. But that brought me to a lot of really great points that I want to bring up. So what I said to her was that my job, right, and the job of an influencer is not to sell your product, okay? That is not, I don't work with brands and brands come to me and be like, well, how many of these will you sell? I don't know how many damn things I'm gonna sell for you. That's not my job. My job is to influence people to go to your site, bring the eyeballs there, and it's your job to sell your product. It ain't my job to sell your product. It's your job to sell your product. Because I could bring 1 million eyeballs to your website or to your product, but if your product sucks, I can't sell it. I ain't made of magic. I can bring people to it, but I can't sell it. So you have to say, if you're working with influencers and they're coming to the site or they're coming to see your product and it's not selling, you're not making sales, don't look at the influencer to prove their sales. You have to look at your product and see why it's not selling. I can bring eyes, but I cannot sell it. So does your product look good? Is it overpriced? Is it too similar to something else? Maybe they didn't like it. Maybe your site wasn't appealing. Maybe the experience once they got there wasn't good. There are so many reasons why you can bring somebody to a site or a product that you might be interested in, but that they won't buy. So I told her that what you have to do is you have to understand what that relationship is. Your relationship is in working with the influencer because they are influencing people to come to your site, and then it's your job to sell it. And not seeing the relationship in its proper form is going to hurt that small business because they do not understand that relationship. And, it's one thing to be a small business owner and you want, obviously, especially if you have limited funds, right? You're a small business owner, you have a budget, you are not trying to pay or cannot pay maybe, a lot of money for an influencer to work with you. Then you need to up the ante, right? You need to make it worth it for them to want to work with you. And sometimes it can be, I'm not even going into all that because I talked about that in episode 11. So go listen to that shit if you don't know what I'm talking about. But what I do want to say is, I wanted her to understand that the relationship with the influencer is about getting people to be excited about her product, and that person is bringing a whole new audience to you. It's your job, remember that, as a brand, to sell that product. I can get 1 million eyeballs to S.H.E.T Academy, but I have to make sure that when they get to S.H.E.T.academy.com that I sell them. Okay, that's my job, not the influencer's job. So I wanted to clarify that because as a business owner or a brand, if you do not understand the different positions, then you're going to have a hard time growing. And this is what I told the person who DM'd me, is if you do not understand the relationship, you're going to stay where you are right now because you're focused on having someone else sell your product when you need to be worried about you selling your product and finding influencers that are attracted to your product, that want to work with you, and that way they're excited, they tell their following, they come and see, and then once they come, that's on you. So here's another example of a brand that does not really quite understand the relationship. And this is actually something that recently happened. So I commented on a site, and they were very excited that I had commented, and they said, "Yeah, we would love to work with you. Can we send you some stuff? Can I email you?" And I said, "Yes, of course, you can email me." So they emailed me. And in the email, it was for a fabric store, and I'm not gonna, I don't mention names because that's not what this shit is about. But so they emailed me, and I love their fabric. I think they carry a lot of really wonderful things, and so I had commented on something they had posted, and they got really excited and they emailed me. Well, the email had a contract and an agreement attached. And so I read through it, and first, I don't do exclusivity. I don't sign agreements unless you pay me a whole lot of money. Okay, so bottom line. But what it did was, the agreement had, well, we'll send you this amount of fabric, and then you have to post this amount of times, and you have to post to this place and that place and the other damn place, and then you have to do it, for this amount of time. And as I was reading it, I started reading it as a business owner. And I thought, gosh, they are seriously doing themselves a disservice by even sending this out. Because at that point, I'm no longer an influencer. To be quite honest, I don't consider myself an influencer anymore to a certain extent, because I know that I have to do things a lot differently than other influencers do, because I'm a business owner and I have my own brand. So if you can't align yourself with my brand, then I have to be very selective. But there are a lot of people within my industry that I love, and I love what they do, and I do a lot of things, a lot of times for free, just because I really like you, and I really dig what you're doing, and I wanna help as much as I can. But when you attach an agreement to something, I had to sit back and think there are a lot of really confused people out here, and I want to clarify, because what I started to feel was like, I want to help this company, and they're a small company, and I want to help them. And so my response to them, and I haven't sent it yet, but I'm going to, my response to them is going to be to help them, because I can't help you. You can't send me no fabric, and I cannot sign no agreement to post or talk about your fabric. Mimi G does not roll that way, okay? Because what I realized immediately is that company does not understand the value. Because what they should have done was like, Mimi G, I will send you whatever the hell you want to, because if you mention it, I'm going to make money from sales. I'm going to get a lot of people to come and look at my fabric. I'm going to get a lot of other benefits outside of me sending you this agreement and you signing it and you having to post this amount of times for this amount of things and all that. That was off-putting to me immediately, but not because I was like, oh, I deserve so much more, because shit, I do, okay? Listen, y'all listen to this podcast, and you guys listen to Stop Talking About You Broke, so you know my mentality when it comes to my value, my worth, right? But that's not even what it was about. When I read it, I immediately thought, oh my God, I have to help them. I have to help them because they're going to turn down a whole lot of people who could work with them and who could influence a ton of people to bring eyeballs to this wonderful fabric store. And the way they are approaching it is completely wrong. Do not send a contract or an agreement, especially for a couple yards of fabric, for somebody to do this, that, and the other thing for you, because you're not understanding the value of aligning yourself with influencers in your area. And I want to be able to shed light on that for them, and I will, because I want them to do great. and their approach is just incorrect, and they're not understanding the relationship between a brand and an influencer. So I'm going to clarify that for them. So that's an example. Another example is I walked away from $48,000 that was offered to me to create content for a website. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but to me, right, when I look at the value of one, my likeness, my brand, my influence, my audience, the amount of work that I do, what the time it would take for me to come and create content and then, push the content and sell the content. Like, a lot is involved in doing that. But I will say that the way they approached me was fantastic. They went through this whole little process of really trying to show me the value, and I appreciated it. We just couldn't come to a number. But there was a difference in the approach and an understanding, right, what the value was. Now, I know that if they could have, they would have paid me what I asked. I absolutely know that 100%. And we will try and work it out for 2019. But to approach an influencer, right, and assume that you're sending them something that's so valuable that then they're going to then tell everybody to go and visit, and they haven't received much of anything except whatever product you sent them, is just an incorrect assessment of that relationship. And so I wanted to take today to clarify. So I know it's probably like a bit of a clarification and a rant, but that's my job, right? Because if I don't tell you, nobody's going to tell you. I want you guys to get paid. I want you to stop taking crumbs, okay? And as an influencer, you also have a responsibility, okay? And as a brand, you have a responsibility. And because I am both, I understand both sides of that relationship. So one is you have to know your position and don't be afraid to ask for what you feel you are worth. So let me ask you a question. Can you pay bills with fabric? Hell no. Okay? Go tell your landlord, okay? The first is coming up, okay? I want you to go tell your landlord that you're going to pay half the rent with fabric. You're going to give him a product in place of rent and then tell me what he says to you. Okay? Do you realize that you telling the 2,000 or 5,000 people who follow you that you love this pair of scissors or this fabric or this pattern or whatever is going to take all of these eyes to that shop, right? And then that shop is going to make sales from all of those eyes that you brought over. And the sales that that company is going to make is going to pay bills, okay? Bills for that company, and you at home sitting on your couch with 3 yards of fabric. Now tell me how does that make sense for you? Unless you are building an inventory for your hobby, cool. Take all the free shit you can get, okay? But if you want to be taken as a business owner, taken serious as a business owner, as a brand, as an influencer, that's not cool. Stop it, okay? $50 for a post, cool. I could work with $50. Guess what $50 can do? It can pay my light bill. $50 worth of fabric is going to get me a shirt. I'm going to make a shirt, and then I'm going to be sitting at the house with a shirt, and lights is not going to be paid. Okay, I know that's extreme, but I feel like I need to be extreme so that you guys can understand that whether you are at a point in your career or as an influencer where maybe you're only charging $100 for a post, cool. But don't make $100 with a product. Make it $100 because $100 cash can help you pay your bills. It can help go towards your business for what maybe you need to hire a graphic designer or update your website. You can't do that with product. You just can't, okay? You really can't. And so before, when I talked about in episode 11 about knowing when to align yourself and doing things for product or in place of money, they're sending you a product and because it's a good alignment, it makes sense for you. That's wonderful, but you have to make sure that alignment is worth it to you, okay? That alignment is contributing to your household and not just your hobby, right? Because if you are aligning yourself with a brand, you have to say, well, what am I getting from this brand in place of this product that is going to be of value to me, right? So let's say that you have a larger following than this brand that you're working with, which happens to me quite often. Your following is much larger. Well, aligning yourself for product with that brand is not going to bring eyeballs to you, right? Because your audience is bigger. It might bring some new people, but maybe there's something else that you can leverage, right? You just have to be smart about it. You have to be smart about what you're worth, what your influence is doing, and then making sure that whatever you're getting in return is worth it and it's contributing to your household. In the same token, though, bloggers, influencers, don't lie about your influence, okay? Don't lie about your influence, because that's going to hurt everybody. Because what happens is, if you set yourself up as an influencer and you think you're ready to take on sponsorships, and a brand, aligns with you to do something, right? And you guys are doing the sponsorship, and you talk about something and they don't see the metrics, right? The numbers aren't there, the eyeballs ain't there. They are never going to work with you again. Guaranteed. So don't lie about what you can do for the brand. Just be honest about it. I don't have a huge audience. I could probably bring you this amount of people, but this is what I can do. I can bring, I could do a nice post. I could take beautiful pictures. I can whatever it is. There's a whole lot of ways for you to work with sponsors. Also, stop taking things that you don't really like. Don't do that, because that's another thing that's going to hurt you. If you align yourself with a sponsor just because they're willing to pay you $100 or $300 or $10,000, whatever it is, and you don't like the product, or it does not fit within your brand, people are going to know you're full of shit and they're not going to go see it. I mean, really, that's what it is. All of a sudden, you're talking about something that is not even closely related to anything you ever blog about. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about something for the money. People are going to know it's not legit. It's not going to work. You're doing yourself a disservice. Second thing is, if you do it, back it up, right? If you say that you can provide something for a brand, back it up. Right? If I align myself with a sponsor, they're paying me a lot of money. They pay me a lot of money because I can guarantee that a lot of people are going to come from experience, from past, sponsorship deals, from my metrics, from looking at my statistics. I know that if I talk about, specific things that align with my brand, I'm going to get a lot of eyeballs over to your site. And two, I'm going to sell you a shit ton of product, because from experience, that is what's happened, and I can show that, right? I can go back into other campaigns that I've done, and I can show that I can sell out products, in less than an hour sometimes. But that's taken time, right? I've had to prove that. But I don't prove that I can make the sale. I can prove that I can bring attention and influence to your product. They still have to do the selling part, right? Okay. I hope I have cleared this up as far as the brands and the influencers and how you guys need to work together. It really is a relationship that has to be respected on both sides. The brand has to respect the influencer, and the influencer has to respect the brand, and you guys have to make this a mutual benefit. All right, you have to understand that if you are a small business owner, the best possible way for you to create buzz for your product is to align yourself with influencers. And the first way to shoot yourself in the foot is by thinking that you're doing that influencer a favor by sending them a product or a couple yards of fabric or whatever it is that you are trying to send them for mentions. That's not how the relationship is built, and that's what you guys need to focus on, okay? This is a side note, okay? This is a side note that I just had to throw in today because I got a message from somebody who said that they wanted to share my podcast with a group of teens that they are working with, but that because of my cussing, that they didn't think that it would be appropriate, and then they asked me not to cuss. All right, listen, okay? This is what I got to say about this. This is my platform. I do whatever amount of cussing I want to do on this platform because I'm talking very naturally. This is what I'm feeling, and this is how I talk to my friends and my family and whoever else. But this is really what I want to get at. The message, the amount of content that I give in this free-ass podcast, by the way, okay, is going to add so much value to anybody who's listening, because that's my hope and my desire, is that I am giving you as much information as I possibly can so that you can avoid all the mistakes that I made running and building my business. But if you think that because I say a couple shits and throw in a couple fucks every now and then, that you can't share this amount of valuable information with a group of teenagers, then you are doing them a disservice, and you are a tad bit delusional if you think those teenagers ain't heard a bunch of shits and fucks, okay? I don't do it that much, but when I do, it's for a purpose, okay? The message is what's important. I know that not everybody likes the cursing. I know it's not for everybody, and I know it can put some people off, but that's, we live in a world where you hear and you see things all the time that you don't agree with or don't align with your life, and that's cool, right? If I don't like something, I just don't listen to it. But, if my cussing is offensive, I don't know what to say about that, because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop cussing. I'm not going to change it. Am I aware of it sometimes? Yeah, I'm aware of it. But what I really care about is the fact that you guys are listening to the message and what it is, and it's as real as it's going to get. I'm not going to polish it up just because I'm afraid that people aren't going to listen, because that's not my purpose. My purpose is to give about as much information as I possibly can to hopefully get you guys motivated to do amazing things, and to get you guys paid, and to help you build businesses, and to help you grow social followings, and just, that's really the goal. So however I choose to deliver it is how I choose to deliver it, and I won't apologize for that. All right, actionable to do for today. Stop acting like you are doing a favor to these brands and start adding value to your brand so that you can get paid. That's your actionable to do. Stop doing that shit, get paid. If you haven't joined our private Facebook group, head on over. It's a really great support system. Everybody who's there is, we've got about 600 members so far. They all talk and give each other advice and ask questions, and I pop in every now and then and answer questions, and it's just a really safe and wonderful place to bounce off ideas with other creative people. Go to the episode, businessshit.com, click on the description, and it will have a link to the Facebook group so you can join. All right, no question for today, but if you have a question or you want to send something along to me, I love getting your emails, so please, please, please talk your shit. Email me at businessshit@gmail.com. And as always, please remember, in order for your business to be successful, it has to be the shit. It has to solve a problem, help your customers get past their current situation, earn respect, and build trust. I'm out.